Hey, it's Matt here at London Grapple with Will. Today we're going to look at some basic options for sprawling when our opponent's pushed us against the fence using a double leg takedown. So I get in a position here, I've been pushed back to the wall. Will shoots his double leg. There's a few things I don't want to happen initially, right? The first thing is I don't want Will to lock his hands together, right? The minute he locks his hands together, it gets extremely difficult for me to defend. There's things I can do to defend late, but I'm probably going to get taken down to at least a hip elbow, right? So as he's shooting in, it's important that I, if you jump off a second, Will, spread my base apart quite wide here like this, right? What that initially makes it difficult for him to do is to lock his hands together. Second, I want to try and turn towards Will's head. The reason for this is, as he shoots in, if I turn in the opposite direction, I'm giving him pretty easy access to my back, right? As he follows up to the head, it's very difficult for me to stop with the whizzer. So most of the time, I'm going to try and turn myself towards the side his head's on. So as the shot comes in, I'm turning, splitting in this direction, and going here, right? I'm turning. The third thing I'm trying to avoid doing is leaning over Will. If I lean over Will, it's pretty easy for him to either lift me or take me out to the side, right? So I should be trying to keep my back pretty much square with the wall as possible, but also turning my shoulder through, right? So I'm tall, but my shoulder's coming through like this. This is where the whizzer's going to come into play, right? If Will's in pretty good posture, pretty good position like he is right now, my best option, if I can't stuff his head, is going to be to start bringing him back up. So I'm going to use my whizzer to lift Will here like so. Now if he comes very high like this, it's pretty easy for me to just start pummeling back into neutral over-under positions and turning. But if he's really pushing for that takedown, he'll stay a little bit lower down, and he'll be still pushing towards my hip here, so I'm bringing him up. So the first thing I'm going to use to make some space is like an Uchimata pressure. This is a little bit easier for me to do here, and it's a little bit safer than it is when I'm out in space because I'm balancing myself against the wall. I'm going to take a step, and I'm going to kick inside Will's leg. So I step and kick. And what this is going to do, most of the time it's not going to give me a takedown, but it is going to off-balance Will slightly and give me some space. A really good option from this position, as soon as this space opens up here, is I jam my forearm in, okay? So now I'm using my whizzer to hold Will into me a little bit, but I'm using my forearm to stop him getting the head position he wants to make his underhook useful. So if he tries to drive his head towards me and secure his underhook, it's quite difficult. I can use this to do a bunch of stuff now. I can move myself away from the wall and I can start creating posts. I can use knees, and also as I separate, elbow from this position and get back to neutral as well. So looking at that again, initially as he shoots in, I'm turning towards his head and I'm using my whizzer to pull him up. I'm backstepping, and as I backstep, I use this kick to his near side leg. That kick creates an off-balancing effect, which allows me, if I don't take him down outright, to use this frame here. Now as he starts trying to get hold of me again, it's quite difficult for him. I've got options for striking and striking here and creating distance, okay? A second option, which is very similar to that, but normally comes when my opponent's keeping his base a little bit further back and driving from his feet into me, is to use a throw at the far leg, like a Haragoshi style takedown. So what this is going to look like, again, Will shoots, beats my arms, so I'm turning on my wall sprawl. This time I'm lifting him up with the whizzer, and he's keeping his legs quite far back in order that he can pressure into me. Come up a little bit more, because if you're that low, I can sort of stuff the head. Now again, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm pushed up against the wall, and I've got a little bit of extra balance to hit this here, right? So my whizzer's solid, controlling this arm again. I'm going to back step here, but rather than going to the near side leg this time, I'm going to reach all the way across and get my toes almost draping across that far knee. Now if I give a bit of a back heeling movement here and I push over with my whizzer, it should be quite easy for me to turn Will over there. Now, it can be really tempting to really try and bury the guy with this throw, but the problem is if I really slam into him, there's a pretty good chance I can get rolled through. So what I'm going to try and do is hold my weight back a little bit and go into more of like a knee on belly kind of position before where I can secure top. So again, that'll look like this. Will shoots in. I bring him up, I notice that he's just keeping this leg back a little bit. And in order to balance himself there, that means he's bringing his right leg forward just a touch and driving from his toes. This is perfect opportunity to hit Haragoshi. So I come here and I'm going here. I'm keeping my body weight forward. It's not as much of a risk against the wall because again, I've got the fence or a wall to balance against if I lean back. But I try and keep my body weight forward and then I'm just kicking his leg away there. And from here, really focusing on keeping my balance back and starting to settle here to secure top position. If you want to see an excellent example of this, watch Khabib against RDA, and he just skies him with this Haragoshi style pressure. So one more time, Will shoots in, boom, I work my wall sprawl, I'm bringing him up, I'm finding that line, and I'm throwing there and working to secure top.